Welcome back everybody. If you're new here, my name is Alex and this is Donnie's Bonsai. Now all of you might be asking why instead of a tree am I sitting in front of a huge box? Reason being, there's actually a tree inside the box. And I have another box just like this sitting right next to me. Now, what I'm going to be doing is a live unboxing of these trees and then comparing them to trees that I've purchased at box stores locally, like Home Depot and Lowe's. The reason I bought these trees, a couple reasons. First off, because I really wanted to do this comparison. What do you get when you spend a lot of money on a bonsai website to buy a large grand tree compared to what you get for like $20 to $30 at Home Depot or Lowe's or any of these other nursery box stores? So that was reason number one. Reason number two is I really want some older trees to display in my house. So some indoor bonsai trees that have some age on them. So hopefully I didn't waste my money here, because the problem with these, pretty much every bonsai site that I've ever been on, is they don't actually show you the picture of the tree you're buying. They just give you a rough idea of what the tree's gonna look like, right? They have a picture of probably one of the best trees they've ever had in that category, and they post that picture. And they do tell you that you're not buying that exact tree, but you're buying a tree with, a certain age. So the two trees that I bought happen to be a Fukien Tea tree and then also a Chinese Elm. They're two trees that can definitely be grown inside all winter long. They're trees that if I want to get some more growth on them, I can put them in my grow tent downstairs. The Chinese Elm, you can do both. You can keep it inside, or you could technically let it stay outside, but then you're going to have to get it into some type of, greenhouse or something when the temperatures do get pretty cold. I don't know what the exact zone is, but I know it doesn't go below 6, that's for sure. So, yeah, this is going to be kind of awesome. Pretty excited for these trees. I really hope they're as good as I expect them to be. I did buy the best trees that this website had to offer. I did look a lot online, and I chose EasternLeaf. I decided to go with them. They seem to have the best, offering for tree sizes, and they offered, basically a small tree all the way up to what they consider a grand tree. And the grand trees were $170 basically each. So I went ahead and purchased 2 grand trees, and now we're gonna go ahead and open these up together. I haven't even cut the tape yet. I don't even know which one's in which box, so I'm gonna be pulling out a random tree. Now what I also have behind me is I have 3 other trees. I think it's 2 of the Fukien Tea trees that I've bought locally. One was from a nursery that I paid a little bit more money for, and then one was from Home Depot. And then I only have 2 Chinese Elms because they're super hard to find at box stores around here. So I do have one of those Chinese Elms, just to give you an idea of what you can expect when you buy a Chinese Elm from one of these, big kind of commercial stores that sell everything from lawn equipment to lumber to plants to soil. They just have a variety of things. They don't specialize in anything, they just have a lot of everything. So that's what I plan on doing tonight. So we're gonna get started. First thing I'm gonna do is take this box down. I'm going to show you the 3 trees that I have, and then from there what we'll do is we'll go ahead and unbox each tree individually. Again, I have no idea which tree is in each box, and it took everything I had not to open these things when I came home at lunchtime to get them off of my porch. I got the notification they were delivered, went and got my daughter, came back, took them off my porch and put them inside. And I so badly wanted to get them out of the box and into some sunlight just so they could start recovering from their transportation shock. But I really wanted to do it live on camera with you guys and give you my true honest opinion of the tree. I didn't want any kind of opinions to set in and be able to let things kind of settle a little bit. I wanted the raw, oh, I opened this up and it's definitely not what I wanted, or I opened it up and I'm just amazed at how awesome the tree is. So that's what we're gonna do now. Just from the size of the box, unless they put a little tiny tree in a massive box, I'm already pretty impressed, because I was expecting a much smaller box, to be honest. So the size of the box has got me pretty excited, I'm not gonna lie. And what I'm gonna do, get this thing down, get these other trees up here, show you those, and then I just really want to get these things open and kind of take a look at them. So I'm gonna get this down right now. And let's see here. Let's start off with the Chinese Elm. So there, Chinese Elm, nothing to it. Now, if you go back in my shorts, those of you who are subscribers, you've already seen it. I almost guarantee you've seen it already because it was just a real quick video. I did a quick trim on this. I kind of gave it some rough shapes, some rough pads because it was just kind of a mess and everything was on this side. So I'm hoping, I did some marks in the bark. I'm hoping to get some growth to activate some buds on this side of the tree, bring some pads on this side. But again, this is what you get in one of these box stores. You don't know what you're gonna get. Usually it's just something they go, they just take their scissors, clip it up real quick and they ship it out. You know, they're just trying to get thousands of these things out as quickly as possible. They're not really sitting there and putting a lot of time into the tree like, you know, we are. So that's what you get. I mean, you really don't get much, right? This tree, again though, you don't pay much. This is like 20 bucks. So anywhere from 20 to $30, I've seen them in that range. And they come in usually in like a non-bonsai pot. It's usually just like a regular little flower pot. And sometimes the pots don't even have drains in them, which is a huge no-no. And the soil's usually pretty junky. And also there's usually like fake moss on top of them, just like this one came. So that is what you would get at a box store, except I've actually trimmed it up. It actually looked a lot worse than this. Not that it looks good now, it definitely needs to grow, but it looked much, much worse than this when I bought it. So I'm gonna bring up the next tree. All right, again, if you've watched my shorts, this is in there. Again, it didn't look like this. It was definitely kind of a mess. There was stuff everywhere. But this is what you can expect. You know, if you buy a Fukien Tea tree at any of your local, you know, large box stores or probably even of your local nurseries, this is what you're going to get. It's a pretty relatively small tree. Usually going to be $20 to $30. I'm guessing, I don't really know for sure, but I'm guessing this tree is at least 4 to 6 years old, somewhere in that range. And there's really not much to it. It hasn't really been trimmed up by an artist. It's just been trimmed up by someone looking to wholesale these things and get as many out as possible as quickly as they possibly can. So that's that. And now, all right, everybody, so now we have a Fukien Tea tree that I recently bought at a local nursery, and this tree cost me $64.99 before tax. But I feel like that's not a bad deal, because if you just saw the last one, you could see how skinny it was, how it wasn't really shaped that well. It didn't really have any, you know, actual design to it that was gonna turn into a nice tree until I put a lot of time and many years into it. So this was an extra $44 or $45, but what I'm getting for that $45 is a much thicker trunk, right? A much better shape to the tree. I actually have some pad separation, some pad development. I have a pad here, there's a pad down here. If I want to keep it, it's kind of low on the trunk, but it does look pretty nice. There's a pad out back, there's a pad up here. There could be a little pad here, there could also be a little pad here, or we could combine this stuff into like a full apex. But either way, it has a good shape to it. It has some nice new growth, and I feel for the extra $45 that you're getting a lot more tree. It would take me years, probably 2 to 3 years, to turn one of those trees that I get from a box store into something like this. Plus, those do not come in an actual bonsai pot. Even though this is an extremely low quality, you know, very cheap bonsai pot, it's still a bonsai pot. It has drains in the bottom. It looks like a bonsai pot. It even has a coating of what looks like some very fine akadama. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but I did dig underneath, and it's more like a pine bark potting soil underneath. This is just a coating. There's not actually like a full dense soil like this. So anyways, overall, you get a lot more for your money. buying something like this at a local nursery, you can go look at it. They usually have a couple options. You're getting it in a bonsai pot, has some shape, has some pads, has some development. Stuff that would take years for you to do, you can get it just by paying an extra $45. And I don't know about you, but years of my life are definitely worth more than $45. So this is, in my mind, well spent extra money. And now I'm pretty excited to open up my first box. I don't even know if it's gonna be, again, a Fukien Tea tree or a Chinese Elm first, but it's gonna be one of the two. And we're gonna pull this thing out and see what do we get for that extra large amount of money. I mean, these were $170 each. So I'm expecting something that's much, I mean, again, trees grow pretty slow, but I'm really hoping it's bigger than this. I mean, by the size of the box, it's gotta be bigger than this, but I'm really expecting to get something drastically different than these other trees that I have. So I'm gonna put this back down and we're gonna get started on opening this box together. All right, everybody, so let's do this. I got my knife, we're gonna cut the tape. I don't know what this tree is. Doesn't tell me on the box. Just says fragile, it says it's from EasternLeaf. And we're gonna go for it. Now, right off the bat, everybody, these boxes are big. They're a lot bigger than I thought they would be, so that's a good sign. I hope they're not deceiving, like you open this big box at Christmas and it ends up being like a little watch inside or something. I hope the tree is as big as it is. So I'm gonna open it up. This is my initial flap of the box. Let's kind of see what we got in here, I guess. So a lot of these. I got a lot of these. I got a signed receipt. Again, this has both trees on there, so I don't know which one it is. It has both trees on one receipt. So again, no idea which one is in here. Looks like some type of care guide. Oh, it's just like a catalog. Well, this is gonna make a mess. I don't think there's any other way around it, but I'm glad they did that just because, obviously it's better to pack these things in here like this than ruin the tree. So I'm not digging that far down. I'm already seeing the top of the tree, so that's a good sign. I'm gonna get a trash bag first. I'll be right back. All right, back with the trash bag. Little tip for everybody, I don't have one here, but at my shop I do. When I open these kind of things and I have one around me, I use a shop vac and I just suck these things out. It goes right through the tube, no problem. You don't have to worry about spilling them everywhere, taking them out. It takes care of it for you, so let's try to be somewhat clean about this. Try to get it out of here as quick as I can for you guys. Alright, so I see some green. It's definitely the Chinese Elm. I can tell right from the leaves, but it's, I don't know, maybe 5 inches down into the box, so the tree is probably pretty decent size. I mean, this was a tall box, you guys saw it. At some point here, I'm going to try to reach down in there, grab the bottom of the pot, and just pull it out, and then I can leave most of these in the bag. But I can imagine they probably tied this thing to the bottom of the box somehow. I can't see if they did that. Yeah, no, I'm gonna pull these things out. It's really in there, so we'll just keep going here. So the foliage definitely looks like it's kind of centered in the box. It doesn't come all the way out to the sides, at least so far. So So that's definitely trimmed back quite a bit, but it's a pretty tall tree. Let's see here. Oh, just got a glimpse of the trunk. I mean, it's way better than what I got sitting over there for 20 bucks. I can tell you that right now. The noodle tree. Alright, I'll clean that up later. Alright. Initial thoughts, it's definitely worth it. I haven't even really done much with the tree, but let's just go ahead and compare again. $20. $170. It's definitely worth it. I mean, I don't know if you can see the difference in the trunk, but it's quite a bit thicker. Definitely a better shape. Some good pad spots here. This is gonna be good. So let me get this thing kind of unpacked here. All right, initially right off the bat, I'll talk while I'm doing this. Packing, 5 stars, 100%. This thing is packed in here. This is not going anywhere. Did a very good job with packing. I can see the soil. It looks great. I did get a Japanese, actually it wasn't from them. I thought it was, but it wasn't. It was actually from, was it Bonsai Boy or something like that? Alright, so never mind. I did get it, you guys have seen that, my beginner mistake Japanese maple video, where the soil was just, it was like sand and mud. It was terrible. This is like, this looks great. This soil looks awesome. I'm not even gonna bother repotting this, I can tell you that right now. Looks like a lot of very fine pine bark. There's definitely some akadama in there. Some perlite, some basic soil, some potting soil, some larger pieces of perlite. This is really good soil, especially for here in the state of Maine in the summertime. This is pretty much exactly what I would be using outside. So I'm going to keep this in the same pot, in the same soil for now. Pot is very well packaged. I'm actually going to save a lot of this just in case I need to ship a tree somewhere. Let's see if I can get it out of here. I actually got a worm in the soil. That's awesome. Okay, so pot package or pot packing is off. These noodles out of the tree. All right, so let me look at the drains. All right, so decent sized pot, definitely a I would say a lower quality pot. You know, usually the higher quality pots, they have the family insignia stamped on the bottom from, you know, Japan or China, wherever they're made. This one just has that typical oval shaped sticker that says made in China. Drains are a little smaller than I'd like to see, but again, I think when I keep in this pot, it's gonna, you know, I'll be able to monitor the water 100% because it's gonna be inside. So I can control that. I don't have to worry about it getting rained on and getting too much water, getting root rot, so that's okay. For now, I'll leave it in this pot. When I actually have a large shipment of pots coming, when I get that, maybe I'll switch it out, but I think it looks nice in this pot. Just kind of taking a look at the pads and stuff. Overall, for spending, I mean, this thing spent at least 5 days in a box. The leaves look great. I mean, they're very green. I don't see any type of wilting. I mean, I don't know how long these Chinese elms can go without light before they do that, but I've gotten a lot of other trees that get them in the box and, you know, the leaves are just awful. They look like they're dead and yellow and just dried out. So this looks really great. Definitely have some good pad possibilities. I wouldn't say they're the best shape, but you know, at least we have these branches here that we can develop off of. So that's good. Apex is kind of flat, you know. Definitely can fix that very quickly, but overall, definitely, I'm going to say worth it 100%. I mean, you're not going to get a Chinese elm with more age on it for $170 anywhere. I don't think. Not locally anyways, to me, anywhere in New England. So this is definitely, in my mind, I'm going to say packaging, 5 stars, 100%. The ship time, they're coming all the way from California. It was a little bit longer than I usually wait to get trees, but at the same time, I usually don't get trees from California. So I think total from the time I ordered to the time it arrived, it was like 9 days. I don't think it was in a box that long. I think it was only in a box for about 5 to 6 days. But so pretty quick shipping from California. There are some spider webs on here. This is something that, it's not going in the grow tent, but I'm going to have to treat this right away just in case there is any type of, like, you know, spider mites or anything like that on there. But that's not a huge deal. I have tons of treatments for that. So I like the shape of the trunk. I like the size of the trunk. I like the soil a lot. The soil's great. The pot shape is good for this tree. Again, a very, very, very low quality pot, but overall it does the job. And I'd rather not pay for the pot. I'd rather pick my own pot. So, I mean, some of these bonsai pots, you know, this size are over $100 themselves. So I would rather, you know, purchase a pot that I want, have them ship it in a pot like this anyways. A couple dead spiders down here. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this a little better, but this is a great tree. This is a fantastic tree. I'm definitely very happy with it. Let me try to, I have to kind of center this actually. There we go. Okay. So, I think that's probably the best we're going to do without going. All right. Give it a couple turns here. You guys can take a look at it. I'll try to go slow. So let me just move this over. I'm going to try to fit the $20 tree up here. Again, I mean, you have to actually bring this down to like here. You know, that's your comparison, right? So an extra $150 gets you quite a bit. I mean, you get a lot more. You actually get a real bonsai pot. You get a drastically older tree, much larger tree. Tree's in great condition. It's got pads on both sides. It's got some type of development to it. It might not be the best development, but it does have development going on. I'm definitely gonna have to work with this tree over time, but what's great about it is it's a bigger tree that I can put right in my you know, living room window, which does face south. So even in the winter, it just gets blasted with sun. It'll definitely grow in that window. I would really like to put it in the grow tent, but I bought this to be on display. So for now, I'm gonna put it in my patio door window, which gets a little bit less sun. Let it kind of recover from that delivery shock. Then it's going to come back up onto my shelf in my living room. And we'll get this into, I mean, again, we should get at least a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, like pretty much direct sunlight throughout the winter through that window. The window's going to filter some of the sunlight out, but overall, it should get a decent amount of light. We should be able to at least keep growing the tree. And then next summer, I'll probably move this outside and really try to develop it a lot better. And then next winter, I can bring it back in, put it on display again. But overall, I am super happy with this tree. I was very, very worried. Let me get that camera back out. So I was very worried about spending that kind of money. The biggest problem I see with EasternLeaf or any of these websites like this is they don't actually show you the exact tree you're buying. And when you're spending upwards of $150 plus, you kind of want to see what you're buying. You want to know kind of exactly what it looks like. And so it's kind of risky to just see like a generic picture of what the tree may look like, and it may be that big. So you really don't know what you're buying. It makes you kind of nervous. But anybody who's wondering, EasternLeaf, the grand Chinese Elm, I mean, it is grand. You're definitely not gonna get a Chinese Elm this big with this kind of shape, for less than $170. It doesn't matter where you look for it. So I would give it a 5 stars across the board as far as shipping time, shipping, packaging, the tree itself. Again, I'm not worried about the pot. I know it's an expensive pot, and they need to make money off these trees, so that doesn't bother me at all. Came in good soil. I can grow it in this pot for a few years, no problem. So definitely would highly recommend the Grand Chinese Elm from EasternLeaf. Again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I've never even talked to anybody in this company. I'm definitely gonna leave a review. I'll leave a 5-star review for them. So that'll be the first time that I've even communicated with them other than ordering the tree. But yeah, I'm gonna move this one out of the way, and then I'll move the other, well, it's gonna be the Fukien Tea tree. Move that box over here. We'll do the same thing. We're gonna open it up, and now that I've seen this, I have, high hopes. So I'm gonna shut the camera off for now, get everything positioned, get cleaned up a little bit, and then we'll come back, we'll do the Fukien Tea tree. All right, so here we are, we're back. Fukien Tea tree is definitely in this box because the Chinese Elm was in this box. And I'm gonna cut it open. I actually put Chinese Elm box right here so that I can just transfer these noodles from one box to the other, assuming that it is packaged the same way. So I'm gonna get going on that. Cut this tape and get this thing open. Pretty excited for this tree as well. Another signed receipt with both the trees on it. It's definitely easier. Already seen the top of the tree again, about 5 to 6 inches down. So that is great. That's awesome. Really get in here and get this done. That smells like popcorn. Right. Boom. All right, let's de-noodle this thing. overall, right off the bat, again, this might just be natural for these trees. A little bit skinnier of a trunk than the Chinese Elm, but much taller and bigger than any of the trees that I currently own. Looks like roughly the same type of soil. You can see it through the plastic wrapping there. A little bit more yellowing. A little bit more yellowing on the trees, but not much. On this tree, I mean, than the other one. Looks pretty good for spending 6 days in a box, 5 days in a box, however long it was in a box. All right. All right, everybody, let me zoom in a little bit here. All right, everybody, there you have it. So this is the grand Fukien Tea tree from EasternLeaf. Let me go ahead and zoom in. The good thing is I can't zoom in that far because the tree is actually pretty darn tall. So, overall, amazing tree. I like the shape of the trunk. The fact that it's got pad development at all levels is good. One thing that I would consider kind of a negative on this tree is the shape of the tree to me does not look like a bonsai tree. And I mean that as the foliage. So if you look at it, it starts as a very narrow cone down here and goes up. So it's kind of the opposite of what we're really looking for, right? We want a conical shape that comes down, like a pyramid. So the problem here is this branch has been cut off. Guarantee you this thing was out quite a ways before, because for this thing to get woody like that, I mean, this branch has to be pretty darn long. So this branch definitely should have been cut off much further out. These branches are not too bad, but they still should have been a little bit further out. And then these branches up here are the ones that should have been cut in. So that's probably my only real complaint about the shape of the tree. The health of the tree is great. I still have flowers on here that look brand new. I mean, there's flowers all over this thing that look like they just popped out today. And this thing's been in a box for at least 5 days, if not 6. So that's pretty impressive. The leaf color is great. Most of it's a dark green color. There are some dead leaves here and there, but these Fukien Tea trees, they just shed leaves all the time. That's nothing unusual. So that's all good. The health of the tree is fantastic. I love the soil mix they're using. I really do. That's almost exactly how I make my soil. Just a very slight amount of the akadama in there, and a lot of it is like pine bark and some organic soil. And there's some perlite in there. There might even be some like cocoa coir in there. It's hard to tell, but it looks like a really great soil mix. On the edge here, this is either like worm castings that they bought, or there's actually worms in here. On the Chinese Elm, there was actually a worm in the pot, which is great. I mean, worm castings are one of the best slow releasing fertilizers you can use on any plant, and they're actually kind of like a natural, they cause the leaves to absorb this chemical that actually is like a pest resistant chemical. When the pests eat it, they actually die. So it's a very good thing to put in your soil. This right here is definitely worm castings. I can't tell if it's like there's a worm in here or if they just put that on there, but it's definitely worm castings. So that's an amazing thing. The pot, I'm not worried about the pot. The pot looks good. It's not the highest quality pot. It's not, I'm sure there's lower quality pots. But I mean, it's not a great pot, but it looks really nice with the tree. So that is not a big deal to me. That's something I can change in the future. Overall, if I could, I'd probably give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. And it's only because of the shape of the pads. Other than that, it would be a 5-star, right? And let me just show you what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna bring up this tree. This is the tree that we went over initially that I got for $65 at a nursery, right? So definitely not as tall as this tree, but overall the shape of the tree is much, much better. So we have, you know, a nice S shape on each like outer edge of the S shape. There's a pad here, there's a pad here, there's a pad here, there's a pad here if I want it, there's a pad here if I want it, and there's a pad out here if I want it, and there's a nice development up here that will become conical shape, and it already has a nice downward conical shape on both sides. Yes, it needs some trimming, but I'm letting it grow out. But even without the trimming, it has a great, great shape. The base of the trunk is about as wide as, I'd say somewhere in this range of this tree, right? So not as old of a tree, but age is only, I mean, I know everyone who gets into bonsai is like, how old is the tree? You know, that's like the biggest thing to them, but it's also about the shape of the tree and the look of the tree, right? So even though this tree is younger, I think it looks nicer, and it's $100 cheaper. So, but this is kind of a rare find. I mean, you're not gonna walk, again, they only had one of these. They had one tree like this. I've never seen a Fukien Tea tree this nice at any nursery or any box store. It just happened to be like the perfect shape, perfect size, great pad development. I mean, this is a really good example of a small Fukien Tea tree. As you know, and this is also a great tree, and it can become a great tree. It's just that, you know, whoever was developing it, I don't know exactly what look they were going for, because it's kind of backwards from what you would normally want in any type of bonsai tree. So overall though, I'm gonna give it a 4.5, if that's even a thing. If it's not, I'm just gonna go up to a 5, right? I'm not gonna, definitely would not give this a 4. It's very healthy. It's a great size tree for $170. Comes in great soil, decent pot. Packaging is phenomenal. You're not going to get a better packaged tree. I've ordered a lot of trees online, and some of them are not packaged that well. So fantastic packaging. You know, overall, between the two trees, you know, definitely a 5-star review. I'm going to go ahead and leave a review on their website. I'm not affiliated again with EasternLeaf at all. I've never even talked to anyone that works there. I just placed my order, and that was it. This was the first order from them ever. And I'm very impressed, definitely impressed. I might even, maybe when I get some more money in the future, I may even order like a couple more of their grand trees, and just kind of, I mean, every tree's gonna be different, right? You never know what you're gonna get, so it might be kind of cool to, maybe I can even contact them and kind of tell them what I'm looking for, and they can kind of hand select my tree. I don't know, we'll have to deal with that in the future. But for now, very happy with these trees. They're gonna go, once I get my live edge oak shelf built in my main living room window, these are gonna go up on display there. For now, they're gonna go on the floor in front of my patio door so they can get a really good sunlight, for most of the day. And just let these things kind of come out of their transport shock. So again, let me just compare this. One more comparison here. This is just the comparison of like the $20 tree from like Home Depot or Lowe's to your $170 tree. And there's a huge difference, right? I mean, this is definitely much, in my mind, save your pennies and get one of these, because this, this is what you're gonna get at, one of these stores, is you're gonna get something that, it has a decent shape to it, but you're missing pads on sides. You have pads where they're not supposed to be, like, right, you got growth just coming out of different spots, like here and here and here. And this one I've even trimmed up already, I kind of gave it some type of rough shape. I put some scarring in the bark to try to get some buds out over here, and it's working. I am getting buds down here. I'm getting buds on the back side. So that little trick is working, but I'm still waiting for a bud to pop out somewhere around here that I can develop into a pad. So this is gonna take much more work, a lot more time. I mean, you're gonna spend probably another, anywhere from 6 to 10 years to turn this into something like this. So the extra, $150 in my mind is definitely worth, 6 to 10 years of my life for sure. So I would definitely say, if you want a really nice tree that you can look at. Sorry about that, everybody. My camera shut off, but like I was saying, if you're looking for a great tree that, already has some good size to it, some good age to it, I really don't think you're gonna find a better deal than these. This is my first experience with EasternLeaf, so I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I mean, you can see it for yourself. They're good sized trees, reasonably priced. I mean, $170 for a tree this size. It's gonna take you many, many years to develop a tree this big from something you would buy at, like a big commercial store. So, if that's something, the extra $150 is worth your 6 to 10 years of your life developing a tree that you may even kill throughout that time, to me, it's definitely worth it. But for you, it may not be. It may not be something that you can afford. But if you could save up for an extra month or two, I would definitely recommend, jumping online and buying one of these grand sized trees. If that's what you're looking to do, is have a tree that's on display that you can, relax and look at, or when you have company over, they can see it. Overall, super impressed with the tree. Really happy that I bought it, and same with the Chinese Elm. I mean, I really, really like that tree as well. These are both going to go up on my live edge shelf that I'm building as soon as I'm done with it. For now, they're going to go in front of my patio door just so that they can get a really good full day's worth of sun. Hopefully they can snap out of their transport shock if they have any and start growing a little bit. And if you want to see these trees develop throughout the winter and throughout next summer, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I also have, like I just showed you, those 3 trees, but I have, I think, about 30 or 40 trees already in my grow tent downstairs that we will be working on together throughout the winter. That way we're not just, going out and checking on the trees that are in winter storage all winter on camera, because that could probably get a little bit boring. So yeah, if you want to stick around, this will be some really great videos here for you throughout the winter on these trees that I'm growing. So as always, everybody, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like the videos, and I'll see you on the next one.